It's time for another math easy solution to discuss. Well, just a random basketball topic and basically look at Stephen Curry's 2012-2013 statistics and show that it was actually a good thing that he didn't make the All-Star game because, well, he played a lot better afterwards. Well, basically, if you see my other videos, you would notice that I'm actually a huge NBA fan. And if you're watching the playoffs, you'll see that Stephen Curry is just shooting lights out right now. Basically, before I get to the All-Star game stats on it, basically look at his just a brief bio on him. Well, he's 25 years old. He's 6'3", 185 pounds. He was drafted 7th overall. Well, he's a small guy, 6'3", etc. But he plays for Golden State Warriors as a point guard. And just a notable fact, he has the NCAA most three-pointers in a season with 162, so it's the record. And also he won the 2010-2011 NBA Sportsmanship Award and the NBA All-Star Skills Challenge. And basically, recently he broke the record for most three-pointers made in a regular season. He scored 272 three-pointers on 600 attempts, and this broke Ray Allen's 2005-2006 record. Of 269 three-pointers, so he had 3 more than Ray Allen, and on 53 less shots. Ray Allen had 653. Now, Steph Curry didn't make this year's All-Star game, and if you look at his numbers, it's just hard to say why he wouldn't. Basically, at 20.9 points per game, 6.6 assists per game, 4 rebounds per game, 1.5 steals per game on 44% three-point shooting. This is just ridiculous numbers right here. And these numbers are before All-Star game. Right now, he's actually improved in all of these areas. And basically, he's the only player in the All-Star game, that didn't make the All-Star game who had 20-plus points per game. So he was in the top 10 in points. I think it's top 10 in assists as well, and steals. I have to double-check that. But anyways, but as a result from the All-Star game, he actually played much better after the All-Star game. It's probably mad that he didn't make it. So basically, to analyze how much better he did, I actually tabulated. I got this from NBA.com. This is stats basically for the season. He played 78 games, and total games before All-Star game. All-Star game is February 17th. So I made this Excel sheet, and this is basically tabulated his games. Every single game that he played against, and what was the result of each game, if they won or lost, how much points they scored his team, and how many field goals attempts and made, and 3-point attempts made. So they're just basic NBA stats right here. So then if I summarize it all down right here, and I've basically calculated now his averages and totals for the season, basically, and also for just the full season average, as well as this is before All-Star game average and after All-Star game average, because he played 48 games up until the February 17th All-Star game. And basically, yeah, so I have this one before the All-Star game. If I have this highlighted, the notable facts right here. Basically, if you look at his field goal percentage, it's went from 43 all the way to 47 afterwards, so he has a 4% increase. So in all these green I'm showing, there's all the notable increases here. He's made more shots. These are field goal attempts. So he's going from 17 to 19. So basically 2.18 shots more per game. So he's just shooting a lot more. But his minutes were even up by like 1.9, so just roughly 2 minutes more. But still doesn't account for this big of an increase. So 2 shots more, and he's basically making almost 2 shots more, and his field percentage much higher. His 3-point made, he's actually shot just one 3-pointer more, made one 3-pointer more per game after the All-Star game. This is just a huge increase. It may not seem that much, but it's pretty much like 3 points guaranteed more per game. And also his 3-point percentage increased a lot. This is 46. This is just unreal. It is probably one of the best shooters of all time. The only thing that's really dropped much is this free throw, but it's not even that much, from 90.5 to 89.5. It's still really high free throw percentage, but he's shooting more free throws right here. So it's 0.6. So everything he's doing much more after, especially his steals, his assists, almost 1 assist more per game after the All-Star game. And then after the All-Star game, before he was averaging 20.9, now he's averaging almost 26. It's a 5 points per game increase. Now, if I look at a graph of the 3-pointers made, this is the graph right here, and basically he played 48 games before the All-Star game, and this is actually the last game before All-Star game right here. And then, as you can see, if you were to draw a line just across like this, so this is roughly the average, like there, and then on this side here, I'll just fix up the line. But basically, what I'm trying to state here is that this is the All-Star game, or no, this is just before All-Star game. So as you see, all the games afterwards, he has only made. No, these are 3-pointers made. So he's only made less than the ones that before the All-Star game at this point right here, twice right here. So every single one is always above right here. And as you can see, there's a lot of these times where he shot under the just before All-Star game here. So as you can see, there's a huge this incremental increase right here. And now if you look at the 3-pointers attempted, as well as you can see right here, you have this is where the All-Star game is, just before it, and as you see after, everything has basically just increased much more, because if you were to draw a line across here, there's a lot of areas where he shot under this 5 3-pointers attempted. And same thing if you look at just going to field goals made, as again, you could basically pinpoint where it is. This is 48. I think it's somewhere. Yeah, this one right here. This is basically at this point is the All-Star game. As you can see, everything is just increased right after the increase. And also had this 18 just like a week or two after the All-Star game, 18 field goals made. And now if you go to field goals attempt, it's the same thing. These are all showing that trend is basically this low area right here. All-Star game is a slight incremental increase, but then this is per game. Remember, you have field goals attempted per game, so overall it will be much more. And even if you look at points, and if you look at points right here, so this is just before All-Star game on the left. As you can see, if I draw an arrow right here, this is probably higher than most of these, but then if I draw an arrow to the right, you get a lot of these really high point games. Especially this one, he had 54 points against New York Knicks right here. This is 54. This is a lot of points. I think he's actually first player with above 50 points in a game not to make the All-Star game. Yeah, so basically now if you look at the games he didn't play, he only didn't play 4 games, but they went 2-2. They lost they lost two to Miami and San Antonio. Well, those are given, but this doesn't really tell too much. Just wanted to put it in there for your knowledge if you want to look at this, because you could download this stat sheet later on in the Dropbox link below in the description. And basically, the team success, basically, I got the wins percentage right here. It's roughly 50 to 58%. It didn't really change too much before or after, and there's a lot of factors that count for it. Just teams start playing better, trying to make the playoffs. But so this doesn't really get into it too much. But basically now if I compare Ray Allen's previous record for most 3-pointers, just compared with his, so Ray Allen had 269 he made and on 653 attempts, so 41%, and Steph Curry basically destroyed that at 45% boxing, but he had barely more than him, but just 3-point percentage, he was way more efficient. But now if we looked at basically Steph Curry at before All-Star game rate, if we just looked at his 3-point percentage and also 3 points attempted. So this one right here, this equation is basically his rate, how many 3-pointers made per game. This one's a 3.1. That's one. It's over, right? Yeah, basically that's just this rate, 3.1 3-pointers made per game multiplied by 78 right here. So what I'm trying to get to at is basically if he was playing at before the All-Star game rate, he would have got 242 3-pointers made on 541 attempts. This also multiplied his attempts per game times by 78. That's how many games he played, and he would have been averaging 44, basically 44.7 3-pointers percentage. And as you can see, he would not have broken the record right here. But if he played the whole season at this rate, 78 games, at this rate after All-Star game, he would have actually ended up with 320 3-pointers made, which basically shatters the old record, 269, and almost and just under 700 shots here. This is basically his average attempts per game, and on 46% shooting. So his percentage got way higher after All-Star game. So as you can see, and this probably tells you if he's healthy next year, if he plays like this, just don't be surprised if he destroys the basically his own 3-point record in a season. Now I also looked at his first 4 games. He's playing against Denver right now in the playoffs, just to see how his numbers stacked up against basically his season averages. I have this exact same table as this one above. I'm not going to go too much into that, but I'll look at the summary basically, and if you summarize it right here, I have basically at the playoffs, he has everything is basically playing just bit above his All-Star game average. Field goals is up by, this one's up by 2 on this one, but now he's even higher in the playoffs. And 19, so basically his playoffs is roughly is after All-Star game is All-Star after All-Star game rate. And also, but the field goals are much higher. Everything is increasing, right? There's 4% increase from the after All-Star game, but then this is another 50, so add another 3. So this is just much higher in every single aspect. And he's also averaging 27 points per game in the playoffs. As you can see, this is before All-Star game goes 21, after is 26. That's 5%. No, that's 5 points per game increase. And now there's a 27.3 in the playoffs. So he's getting even higher in assists. Is at 10 in that playoff. So everything he's doing is just increasing ever since that All-Star game that he didn't make. And now I basically copied and pasted those tables right into this. Basically into this Word document right here. So you see the summaries, playoff stats are much higher, but everything is basically increased right here from the before to after is increasing. Everything's just increasing, and also this is a pretty useful stat right here. So he would have shattered the world record if he had taken basically the same rate of 3-pointers as he did after the All-Star game, but for the whole season. So basically, the next one to summarize, was missing All-Star game a good thing? Yes, it was a huge increase in production after the All-Star game, and it could also argue that had he not missed the All-Star game, he would not have broken the season record for 3-pointers. And also next season you should keep an eye on him, because if he's healthy and he's shooting like he did afterwards, he might just destroy his own record. Well, that's all for today. Hopefully you learned from this. Hopefully you just enjoyed this rather just off-topic video on Stephen Curry and then NBA. I'm a huge NBA fan, and I found this is quite remarkable. He didn't make the All-Star game, but it actually helped him out. And also remember, if you want to download these notes or also the Excel document, just click the Dropbox link in the description below. Well, that's all for today, and stay tuned for another Math Easy solution.